Unstable Vitals is the podcast that takes the pulse of American healthcare, and the prognosis is critical. Dr. Adam Brown and Dr. Lara Zibners, physicians turned entrepreneurs and business leaders, expose why the system is unraveling before our eyes.
Well, hello everyone. It's exciting. We are back for episode 1, season 2 of Unstable Vitals. I'm Dr. Adam Brown. I'm with my very good friend, Dr. Lara Zibners. Lara, how are you?
I am great. I say that and I'll believe it if I keep saying it.
Yeah, why are you not so great? What's been going on?
I am great.
Okay.
I'm trying this new thing where I'm like journaling gratitude every day, which sounds like a bunch of, namby-pamby horseshit, but supposedly it will change my life, and I'm trying. So I'm grateful for my husband and my children and my family and my friends and the things we're doing here and everything at Calla Lily and this future I'm building, but I'm tired.
Listen, I'm with you on that. Now, okay, I don't think the gratitude thing is complete horseshit. Maybe, like if I'm thankful and grateful, the journaling thing, I can't get into it. I don't know. I write so much already. It's and well, you do too, but like
I get an email Monday through Friday. I get an email from a website that says, "How's your day?" And then it shows me a post. It shows me an entry. So I started this, remember last spring when we talked about shitting our pants, and I said because I'd gained a lot of weight. Yes. Well, I've now lost close to somewhere between 25, 27 pounds.
Hell yes. I mean, that's amazing.
Hell yes. Thank you. But I started journaling at that point because I was like, I'm going to journal this and see how, amazing. No, it'll say like 3 months ago, you said it. I always start with my weight, and it's been exactly the same for 3 months. So, but I do get to read about like things that were driving me nuts, and it's kind of reassuring to know that nothing's changed in 9 months.
Yeah, I mean, well, except your weight, except your weight.
No.
And hey, can I just say, as someone who went through a major, life change with weight loss about 10 years ago, I mean, I lost 65, 70 pounds. I was a big boy.
I've seen the photos.
Yeah. Let's. We're not going to throw those up here, but there is also a lot of good things about like keeping it off for several months, even if you've plateaued. I mean, like if you lost 20 something pounds and you then keep it off for 3 months, I mean, that is something to celebrate. That's a really good thing.
Exactly right. That's what my doctor said. Do a little metabolic reset and kind of just get used to it. And I'm trying to up the weights again because I used to, Rob finally said, stop saying nobody cares that you used to go to Barry's 5 days a week. Like that's a used to. Why don't you do? Because I used to work out 6 days a week it's irrelevant. I used to also poop in a nappy, but I don't do that anymore.
Right.
And maybe I one day will again soon, but there's no relevance
Hopefully
to
not
that
soon.
now.
Hopefully not soon. Well, as you can tell, there's a lot going on, and we'll get to more things that have been going on, but I'm really excited about this upcoming season, and we'll get into more details about that a little bit later. But in short, we are going to try to tackle this why is healthcare so unstable, and we're kind of going to go through different stakeholder groups, which we are going to get to. That is the plan, but we haven't had an episode in several months, and so Laura and I have a lot to catch you up on. But over the past few months, other than losing the weight, Laura, what have been some of the big things that have been happening with you, happening with Calla Lily, happening in your world? What's been going on?
I mean, big stuff. So Calla Lily is on a roll. We just announced our first official collaboration with Big Pharma. We've signed an early agreement to work with EMD Serrano, known as Merck Healthcare in the rest of the world. And I can't tell you what that is for, but it was a big deal. And
it's a BFD.
It's a BFD, especially because when we started dating them in October of 2024, and but it was a year before we were allowed to tell anybody we were talking to them, and then it was another 3 months before we signed the deal, and then it was another 2 months until the press release in February. And at that point, we weren't a clinical stage company, so for them to put that kind of faith in us before we even have put our device into a human being was big. And then we are now officially a clinical stage company. So
that's amazing.
We have finally done all the paperwork and jumped through all the hoops and all the hurdles for us to have the go-ahead to start recruiting patients for our first study. So that's all very exciting. And me, I've been doing my usual running around the world, flapping at the air and getting attention for us. And personally, I still have 3 teenagers. Otto, yeah. And you know what we just did? We did the most fun thing. We went to Lapland for their February break. And
that sounds, just for everybody, Lapland is up near the Arctic Circle,
it's
right?
in the Arctic Circle.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah.
You're in the Arctic Circle. And I was like thinking, I have this big Canada Goose coat that I was really proud of. And I'm like, nothing gets through my Canada Goose. And I got up there and I got out of the car and I was like, holy. So the third place we went, they actually said, leave your pathetic Southerner clothing behind. And when we got there, they had big garment bags with like real clothes in them. And we put them on because we had to drive our own dog sleds to the hotel. And I learned that the most important part of a dog sled is the handlebar.
Or the dog.
Because if you let go, dogs are super important, but if you're the person riding it, you have to hold on, because the dogs, if you fall off, don't care. They don't look back and say, are you all right? So the first time I went off was the first 90 seconds of my dog mushing career. And I let go, and then the sled and the dogs were all tangled, and they came back and they're like, oh, we don't know how this is going to go. But then I got the hang of it. The next time I fell off, I looped my arms through and I dragged behind the sled screaming, whoa, and the doggy stopped and I got back up, and I felt like I have checked something off my bucket list.
I mean, I think this is a check-off thing. I don't know. Like you and I talked about this a little bit. This sounds cool and interesting and fun. And I think I've always wanted to go dog sledding, and I've always wanted to go to the Lapland, to see like the Northern Lights and,
saw those too.
Live in an igloo. But it's the amount of doing those things. I think that I'd like to do them once, maybe twice, and then see Santa's reindeer up in the top of Norway and Sweden and be like, okay, I'm done.
And the only other thing I'm going to add is that I ate a lot of moose. I had moose.
I don't know. See, I'd have an issue with that.
I had moose fillet, which was delicious. I had some smoked moose. And I will say my irritable bowel. So, and there was an outhouse, and it was minus 20 Celsius. And I'm just going to say that.
You wish you had a nappy.
I wish I'd had a nappy. Because being in an outhouse at minus 20 after smoked moose, it was, but other than that, it was a fabulous trip. The kids loved it. We learned how to ice fish, and I don't mean trolling immigration officials. I mean drilling through frozen water in search of fish. We caught nothing, but that took up an afternoon. So it was altogether great. I've been busy, so there you go. My company's doing great. My kids are fine. They're teenagers. I get up. I'm good. I have my health.
Good.
And how about you?
Oh, wow. So a lot. Also, since the last time we talked, Steve and I finished some teaching in Paris and in London, and had a master's thesis student, which was just like really great. Went skiing over the holidays, which was a lot of fun, although Europe as well as the West Coast have not had that much snow. So it wasn't as great of a ski season. But then, the big thing for us for ABIG is we hired a chief of staff. We hired a couple of other people on full-time, and we also are opening up our place and office in London. And that is super exciting. So we now have a flat in London.
Right around the corner from Barry's Soho.
It is. And so, you and I were talking about Barry's boot camp, and it's less than one Bad Bunny song to the Barrys. So if I put in my Bad Bunny song in my flat and start, I'm at Barry's before the first song is done.
You're not going to learn Spanish that way.
Oh no, I agree. The first time I started learning, you also need the full song. Also, the Puerto Rican accent is quite challenging. That's when I started learning Spanish. When I was in college, was one of my friends was Puerto Rican and and the accent's very different from like, Spain Spanish. But anyway, so so Barry's is very close.
I was just going to say, one time my sister, in one of the stupidest things she's ever said, I think I want to adopt a child from South America so I can learn Spanish. And I was like, you want to adopt a baby from South America? So you want to think about that for a minute.
Yeah. And she's an attorney.
She's
right?
Totally an attorney. She's like a smart person. But sometimes we all have those moments. Anyway, I'm so excited you're in London. I know we are.
We're doing this like transcontinental life, where we'll be half our time here in DC and continuing to work the business here, and then half of our time in London. And I've already paid council tax. I've got a mobile. I've got aka a cell phone. I know how to put the trash on the pavement, aka
That's
a
rubbish.
Sidewalk. I'm
It's
oh
rubbish.
shit, I missed
and
one.
curb
rubbish.
is spelled differently.
Yeah, like clurb. I put the trash or the rubbish on the pavement.
That's right.
I take the lift to my flat. I mean, I'm learning. I've already paid council tax, as I said. So like, I'm a Londoner now.
Pudding?
See, this I don't get. I'm just, and then we'll get on to things. But like, I was telling a friend of mine that lives in London, he goes to roast every Sunday. It's like a big thing. And for those that don't know, you do your, in the U.S. we go to brunch. There they go to roast, and so you kind of go to a pub and a gastropub, and you get your roast beef or pork
Yorkshire
or chicken
pudding,
and Yorkshire pudding, and that's what I want to talk about.
Potatoes.
It is bullshit. Yorkshire pudding. It is not pudding. It's not JELLO. It's not dessert. Like, I even give Brits a little bit of flexibility in their pudding talk, because like English folks call pudding could be a dessert. It could be.
Pudding is just a dessert. Do you want pudding? Yes, I'll have an ice lolly.
Yeah, exactly. And so you get that. Got it. But Yorkshire pudding is neither JELLO nor is it a dessert. It's a flavorless,
like a
saltless, puffy,
it's like
almost
a
like a
puff
cream
pastry,
puff
almost
without
like a
flavor.
Souffle. Like a cream puff without flavor is a good way to describe it.
It's a
like
cream puff without. I'm just telling you, it's like a and I don't know, like, to eat it without anything. I'm angry about this. I don't like the misnomer.
Angry? There's so many things in the world to be angry about, and this is what angers you. This isn't just like an oddity. I mean, if Rob was home, Rob's in Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, UK. And when he gets home, I'm going to ask him, and when I call him later tonight, I'll ask him about the Yorkshire pudding. I'm sure he'll have an answer, and it'll be so obvious that we'll feel dumb. But I share with you the frustration. I don't know if I'd go quite to anger. It doesn't seem healthy.
Oh, okay, this is also true. Maybe, okay, I'm being a little slightly hyperbolic. There is definite frustration. But anyway, let me tell you about what's really frustrating is how effed up and broken our healthcare system is. And so, last season, we learned a lot. I mean, we talked to former regulators, we talked to congressional candidates, we talked to, mental health professionals. That was both on screen and off screen. We talked with, we talked with
alone and together.
We talked with folks that are focusing on physician burnout and how broken the incentives are in healthcare in the United States. Administrative overload. We talked with so many different people.
Leadership, likable badass, how to, because we see women entering medical school in greater numbers, but they're not represented in the leadership.
That's right. So we talked with Alison Fergell, author of Likeable Badass. We talked with Jocelyn Wittstein, author of an orthopedic book for women about bone and muscle strength and the importance of move medicine.
Oh, and also what we learned from Jocelyn. So Jocelyn and I are both part of the Milken Institute Women's Health Network, and at the inaugural luncheon with Dr. Jill Biden in November, when you picked me up at the airport with the best ever driver sign, I saw Jocelyn the next day, and I did a little film with her because I said, Jocelyn, the most important thing I learned from you is tell us where vaginal estrogen goes. Do you know?
Forehead. Yeah, it goes in the forehead.
No.
Okay. All right. I think it goes on the bottom of the feet. So
it's vaginal. The key is in the word vaginal.
Estrogen. Okay. Oh, it goes in the vagina. Got it.
I actually have a vagina model right here.
Oh yeah, it's clear.
Everybody. Yeah. And so when I was looking at this, I was like, what is that? Is that like a maggot? Like the rectal maggot? But I realized, you know what that is? That's coccyx.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the butt bone.
Yeah, because there's the rectum. Anyway, anyone not
yeah.
watching the video, you missed out on my vagina model that everyone has one on their desk.
Should have one right on their desk. I mean, I don't know why they don't. But, what we learned from it is that there's so many people trying to solve problems around the healthcare system. And so this season, we wanted to go further and kind of break it down into the class that I taught or teach and the one that you took is like we talk about the 5 Ps of the healthcare system. And we thought about that framework was really a good one as you're trying to think about like how do you fix the problems in the American healthcare system? Well, you really have to work through these 5 different groups. Not only do you have to engage all of these different groups, but if you are a person within one of those groups, if you want to solve a healthcare problem, you have to engage all the other people in the other groups too.
Precisely so backing up the Milken Institute, that was something else big that happened this year when, for those who don't know, Dr. Joe Biden is chairing a group coming out of Milken that was announced last May. It's aiming to be a global group of 200 organizations, exactly to your point, different representatives. So we came in, I'm in there as a representative of Calla Lily. We are one of the startups in that space. They have people from big organizations. They have people from all of these different Ps that you're going to mention with that exact concept being let's break down the silos and put everyone in the room together. And at lunch, they literally said to us, go find somebody that you don't know who doesn't work in your industry.
Yeah. And like in the class I teach, it's a smart way to kind of look at things. These 5 Ps are the politics, or policymakers, people, patients. That's number 2. Number 3 are the providers of healthcare. So that's like doctors, nurses, hospitals, EMTs, technicians. The 4th group is the payers of healthcare. So that's like Medicare, Medicaid, your pocket, your pocketbook and wallet, United Healthcare, like those folks that are actually paying for the healthcare system, taxpayers, and then the producers. So people that are creating technologies to advance healthcare, like yourself with Calla Lily, a drug delivery device. We have people that we'll be speaking to that on the upcoming season that are pharmaceutical representatives, people that are in the medical device industry. So kind of going back through, it's a nice framework to go through these 5 Ps, the politicians or policymakers, the people, the providers, the payers, and the producers. And the reason why we want to present it this way is because if we want to solve any healthcare problem whatsoever, if you are someone saying, I am an AI software engineer and I'm going to solve the healthcare problem through some AI process, then great. But you have to have it paid for. You have to have patients, it has to be a benefit to patients. You have to have doctors, so the providers and hospital systems saying, yep, we want to adopt this. Policymakers have to regulate it potentially. So you have to engage all of these people, even if you're in one of the P sections, you have to engage all of them to actually drive forward any improvement. So our thesis was to bring people along on this show and on this podcast to have conversations so that you're getting multiple different perspectives.
And I also just like the letter P, because one of my sayings in pediatrics when I would see, constipation's a thing. And I would say, if you want your child to poop, just feed them foods that start with the letter P. Like prunes, peaches, pears. Pepperidge Farm white bread is actually really high in fiber. So the letter P, I like it. It's like an episode of Sesame Street today. We're brought to you by the letter P.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But you know what's really good fiber? Metamucil gummies, and they taste really good, by the way.
So we were at Disneyland last summer, and the lady said they have some Starburst special gummies, and they're like, they warned us. They're like, don't help yourself to too many. Because
they have weed in them.
No, because they had some sort of, like, when they got that, everyone was snacking on them, and everyone was having to race to the toilet because they had some kind of, like, gummy pectin.
Sorbitol.
It was like me and smoked moose. Yeah.
Oh, it was like me and those gummy bears.
So I'm eating straight up jelly beans today.
Really?
I really
Why?
am. Because, I lost the weight, and sometimes I feel like you need 10 jelly beans.
I get it. Totally get it.
To get through your day. And I was in the States, and it's something I noticed? I was in Houston last week, I think. I'm playing Where's Waldo with myself on the planet every day. Like I wake up and I'm like, that is my husband next to me. Let me just double check, right? So I was in Houston, and there's something about America. Have you noticed this? People don't walk. They just don't walk. And so
not fast, that's for sure.
No, there's parts of America where literally nobody. Do they not have legs? What's happened over there? I've lived in Europe for 20. I mean, they ambulate, right? Like slow go, no go, go, go. But they don't walk from place A to place B. And so I got to Houston. I was part of this Innovate UK Texas Medical Center program that was really fun. And I rode an electric or a mechanical bull, and I pet an armadillo, and I did all these great things. But when I got there, I booked a Barry's boot camp. We're coming full circle. It was like a 20-minute car ride, and I looked, and there was a Trader Joe's 0.9 miles from the Barry's. Those jelly beans were from Trader Joe's. That's why
back in the day, if you were back in Europe, you just walked to it.
You just walk to it. So I left Barry's, and I was the only person walking, except
was there a sidewalk?
Yes, it was on a sidewalk, but I kept having to cross the street because every so often I'd see somebody like stoned on spice who was just standing there, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go that close to him. So I'd cross the street. So it was me and some unfortunate mentally ill people are the only people who walk in a place like Houston. And I think that might be part of what is wrong with healthcare in America.
So, kind of fun fact on that point. So, when you're going back to policy, like a lot of the policy decisions that are made and incentives that are made end up driving, healthcare outcomes. And so, you're seeing, in Europe, of course, and even in the United States to some degree, in some places, greater number of pedestrian walkways, pedestrian walkthroughs. So, like in London, for example, Oxford Street, if you've ever been, is one of the biggest kind of commerce streets with all the big name department stores and all along it. And, over the past several years, it's been shifting from a thoroughfare of cars and stuff to then now it's basically taxis and buses. But now they're going to even shut that down over the next couple of years and make it a complete pedestrian, like 1.5 miles long.
Really?
I don't know if you knew that, but yeah.
I did not know that. I was just thinking only a bonehead would drive a car down Oxford Street. Also true. But here's where we're going with it. By creating incentives for public transportation, people are burning more calories just because they have to, because they're walking to pick up food or they're walking to work. So, when we're in London, we go to the grocery store about every 2 days because you get what you can carry. And you, of course, wine is a big portion of what we carry, but like you get what you can carry. There's no website for that. You don't have to.
I need all the education.
I'll hook you up with it. It's good.
But like you go to your Waitrose.
You go to
your Marks and Spencer, which I love. I've kind of become a big fan. They also have good cookies. But you walk to it, and then you walk back to your flat, and then you walk back to your apartment. That's like 100 and 150 calories burned right there just walking back and forth.
Well,
and that means something.
Remember last season, we never ended up releasing, we wanted to do a nutrition version of Maha. We did our bikes, right? And then the nutrition one, we need to full circle that. I had bad mics and and plus that was right before I started losing weight. So looking at that footage now, I'm like, it's fine.
It's okay.
Anyway,
it's okay.
But we talked about how some of these ideas are not all bad, right? So like my daughter, I'm in Austria, and my daughter asked me to pour her a bowl of Fruit Loops and feed it to her. And because she's 16 and I am a spineless person, I, of course, ran to the kitchen, poured her Fruit Loops, and then proceeded to feed them to her, being silly, partly, because I was like, you really do have arms. You're 16 years old. But you know what color the Fruit Loops are?
Bland.
So there's two colors in the box. One is kind of a mauve-y purple, and the other one's kind of a yellow.
It's because they banned all the colors of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
That stuff is not bad. But then I was looking through the new nutrition guidance for medical schools, and I think we're going to have an episode where we talk about the real value of young physicians in training going to farms to practice soil sampling.
That's quite interesting.
Crop rotation. That's in that. So you know what? Again, we're going to do what we did last year, which I really want to hit the nutrition thing this season and pick apart some of what's both things can be true. It can be terribly crazy and still have some good stuff going on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one thing I didn't mention that happened over the holidays is I became board certified in lifestyle medicine,
Yay!
and which is exciting, and also updated my emergency medicine certification. So I am good until mid 2030s in certifications for both, which is exciting. But the lifestyle medicine piece is all about how does your lifestyle change, or can you change your lifestyle? It's in the name, from sleep, sexual health, nutrition, exercise, move medicine, stress reduction. How can you do those things, and what are the things that you can do to really drive improvement in cholesterol, blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, da 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 da. And I think what's exciting about having now this kind of transcontinental life, and you have one too, you have continental Europe, UK, and the US, you get to see the different perspectives and how public policy decisions, so like in the UK, France, et cetera, and Austria, heavy emphasis on public transportation. Okay, well, that has two benefits. One, environmental pollutants go down because you don't have cars roaming the street. But then two, people have to walk more. You have to. And because you have to walk to get where you're going, that actually has a downstream effect of improving people's overall health, because you're moving more, you're carrying more, you're having to interact with people more. So those have a lot of benefits that we don't really think sometimes about, but they end up having downstream global population type of health improvements. So
And they also
we're going to get into that.
economic knock-ons, right? Like the one that's coming to mind is that I don't wear as many high heels when I have to walk places.
Okay, I don't wear high heels, so I don't. I mean, I can imagine.
Sure. Admit it.
I don't think I ever did. No, never did drag.
Not your
so
thing.
the only time, the only time I did something like that was in medical school. I went as Janet Reno for the Will Ferrell version of Janet Reno, and walked into a Subway, and someone immediately was like, "Dude, that's an amazing Janet Reno costume." And that's the only time I ever came close. And I don't know that you could really say that going as Janet Reno was drag.
I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to flat out agree with you.
But I don't think it is.
That is not drag. That's just
not
thought out costume. It's kind of like one of my residency counterparts, one of my colleagues during residency, he showed up at a Halloween party dressed as Resusci Annie. So he had the blonde wig, the blue tracksuit,
and he looked like a sex
two
doll.
Cardboard. No, he didn't look like.
Oh, okay.
Resusci Annie. He blue tracksuit, blonde wig, and he had two square, cardboard things with telephone cords coming off them, like defibrillator pads. He did not. That was not drag. You're not dressed in drag if you're dressed as Janet Reno or Resusci Annie.
No,
I don't want to categorize them any further than that.
Yeah, I think that's correct. But going back to what we were talking about, is okay. So you don't wear high heels. I get it. So you're out there moving more, protecting yourself more.
My podiatrist is
more.
happy. The fashion industry suffers.
I mean, trade-offs.
Not that they were reliant on just me.
No. So I think what's kind of interesting about what in kind of our perspectives, what we see, because we're in all these different places, is that you do see that there are healthcare problems across the pond too. Like the Europe is not perfect with healthcare by any stretch. I mean, I was just on a podcast, you were too, over the last few weeks, where we talked about what some of the...
I was in the audience listening to you.
I know.
Did you know that,
did.
or were you just
I did. I didn't know that until a question came through, and it was from you, and Glenn, the moderator, asked me a question from you, which was really kind of cute. But you see that they are struggling too. They have a big problem with their budgets in healthcare, but they spend in like the UK almost half of what we spend in the United States, but the life expectancy is 3-4 years more, and they're starting to have population health issues too.
When I get my estrogen gel refilled in the US versus Europe, it is a 10x increase when I go to pay for it. Today I went to get prescriptions filled, and I'm paying cash for them because then I send the receipts to my insurance company. 2 different medications, 3 months worth, 50 euros.
Yeah, it's
that's not
insane.
Like the copay, that's the price.
The cost. Yep, that is the price. So I think that it's going to be, as we look at what we've got coming up, we are going to be talking about kind of this, how things are on both sides of the pond. In healthcare, we're going to talk with some health tech founders, policy and regulatory leaders, because, one of the problems in the U.S. is the cost of healthcare continues to rise, and that has big implications to our budget. I'm excited because we've got some clinical innovators, not all doctors and stuff, of course, are on the podcast, and some device executives. You're a device executive, by the way.
I'm a device executive?
You are. And then some investors and entrepreneurs. So we've got like a host of folks that are coming, that are going to be coming up. Very excited. We'll be doing some of our episodes from London.
Yes.
We'll do some of them from Amsterdam. I think you and I both are going to be at Health this year.
We're going to be
and so there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming up.
I'm super excited. I have to say, when we decided, it was over a year. It was like, 14 months ago that we were on that second bottle of wine, and I said, "Oh, Adam, we're so funny. We should." Yeah,
I know, right? We should do a podcast.
And then the team at ABIG was like, "That's a lot of work." That was one of the highlights of last year for me. We've had so much fun.
It has been a lot of fun, and we're going to have more fun, and we're going to have sometimes that are fun and silly, and sometimes serious. And
no,
because
not serious. I think if we have a guest who's not funny, we should just end it. Let's get a hook or something.
Yeah, and again, take them off. Listen, some of these decisions and some of these policy things are not super. They're kind of wonky, but we can spice it up.
We'll spice it up. Yeah.
Well, listen, with that, it's been so good to see you. I can't wait for this next season.
It's good to see you.
Very exciting.
Good to be back. I'm so excited.
It's good to be back, and stay safe out there. And so our next episode of Unstable Vitals is coming up in a few weeks, and hopefully you'll tune in and share it. And so from me, from Washington, D.C., take care. And Lara?
Me from where am I today? Vienna, Austria. Healthcare is unstable, and so are we.
She's more than me. But anyway, it's good to see you. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into Unstable Vitals. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow us for more unfiltered conversations on the pulse of healthcare. Connect with us on LinkedIn or visit us on unstablevitals.com to stay in the loop.